My name is Julian, and I am 35 years old. I live in Seattle, a city of constant rain and even more constant dreams. My apartment is small, nestled above a bustling coffee shop, and every morning the smell of brewing coffee reminds me of the fresh start each day could be. I worked as a junior architect, my days filled with designing beautiful buildings on paper, imagining lives lived within their walls, but my own life felt a little less grand. I was always working hard, always pushing, trying to get ahead, but it felt like I was forever just a few steps from where I wanted to be. I dreamed of owning my own small design firm one day, maybe even a small house with a patch of green outside the city, where I could actually plant something that wasn't in a pot on my fire escape. This quiet struggle, this feeling of being constantly on the edge of stability, always almost there, but never quite making it, was a heavy weight I carried. It was my internal nemesis, the fear of stagnation, the worry that I wasn't enough, that I would never truly build the life I imagined. One particularly rainy evening, the kind where the streetlights blurred into streaks of gold and red, I was driving home after a late shift. My eyes were heavy, my mind buzzing with blueprints and deadlines. Suddenly, a blinding flash of headlights, a screech of tires, and then the terrifying impact. My car spun, hit a guardrail, and in an instant a burst of heat engulfed me. Flames licked at the windows. I was trapped, my leg pinned, the smell of burning plastic and gasoline filling my lungs. Panic clawed at my throat. Everything went dark, then bright, then dark again. I could feel the heat, the intense, suffocating heat, and I thought, this is it. This is how it ends. I woke up in a hospital bed, my body a map of pain. There were bandages everywhere, the sterile smell of disinfectant thick in the air. A kind nurse explained that I had been in a severe car accident. My car had caught fire. A stranger, she said, had pulled me from the burning wreck just moments before the whole vehicle exploded. A stranger. The words felt distant, unreal. I tried to picture a face, a name, but there was nothing. Just the memory of the heat and the crushing fear. My physical recovery was agonizingly slow. Months turned into an endless cycle of physical therapy sessions, painful skin grafts, and the exhausting effort of learning to walk again, each step a testament to the fact that I was still here. But the physical pain was only part of it. I had lost my job because I couldn't work. My health insurance, which I thought was decent, barely covered the extensive treatments, and the medical bills piled up like an insurmountable mountain. My small savings, painstakingly built over years, vanished in weeks. I felt like a shell of my former self, isolated in my small apartment, the city outside feeling more distant than ever. Friends called, visited, tried to offer help, but I found myself pushing them away. I felt like a burden, a broken thing, and the shame of it kept me wrapped in a lonely cocoon. My internal nemesis, the fear of not being enough, transformed into a crushing certainty that I was now nothing. Then came the eviction notice. I stared at the official paper, my landlord's name at the top, telling me I had to leave. I was out of money, still in constant pain, and now facing homelessness. I looked around my small apartment, the stacks of medical bills on the table, the crutches leaning against the wall, and a profound despair settled over me. Why had I been saved only to face this? What was the point of all the pain, all the fighting to get better, if I was just going to lose everything? I thought about giving up on my physical therapy, on trying to find work, on everything. It felt like I was sinking and I was too tired to swim. I closed my eyes, the weight of the world pressing down on me, feeling utterly defeated, ungrateful, angry, and empty. Lying there on my bed, the eviction notice crumpled in my hand, I saw it again. The burning car, the smoke, the terror, and then a face. It was blurry, distorted by the heat haze and my own fading consciousness, but it was there. Determined, a strong hand, not my own, reaching in, grabbing me, pulling with impossible strength. The stranger's sheer will to save a life, without a moment's hesitation, without knowing who I was or what I deserved. In that instant, a flicker ignited within me. This life, my life, had been a gift, given by an act of immense courage and selflessness. To give up now, to let despair consume me, would be to waste that gift, to dishonor the incredible sacrifice of someone I didn't even know. A raw, powerful resolve surged through me. I would not let my life, the one so bravely saved, crumble into nothing. I would fight. I would fight for the stranger, for the second chance they gave me, and for myself. My voice rough, still laced with exhaustion, I picked up my phone and called my physical therapist. I told them I wanted to push harder, that I was ready to do whatever it took. Slowly, painfully, I began to rebuild. I continued my physical therapy with renewed determination, learning to live with my scars, both the visible ones on my skin and the invisible ones etched on my soul. I found a remote part-time job doing architectural drafting, working from my small apartment, piecing together a new beginning. The work was demanding, but each line I drew felt like a victory. As I healed, I started volunteering at a support group for accident survivors. Sharing my story, hearing theirs, created a connection I hadn't realized I was missing. It helped me understand that while my journey was unique, the human spirit's capacity for resilience was universal. Every year on the anniversary of the accident, I buy a bouquet of flowers. They are always yellow, bright, and full of life, for courage and hope. I drive to the quiet stretch of road where my world almost ended and place them at the roadside. It's a private pilgrimage, a quiet promise kept, a silent thank you to the hero I never knew. It reminds me of how far I've come. I eventually got a better job at a firm I loved, saved up, and bought a small place of my own, not quite a house with a garden yet, but a place with a window box that overflows with vibrant petunias. One pouring wet day, while driving home from work, I saw an elderly man struggling. He was trying to carry several heavy grocery bags, but one of the bags had ripped, scattering oranges across the slick pavement. He looked lost, overwhelmed by the rain and the mess. Without hesitation, without thinking, I pulled my car over to the curb. I got out, went to him, and helped him gather his scattered groceries. Then I offered him a ride home. He was so grateful, his eyes welling up with tears as I helped him carry the bags up to his apartment door. As I drove away, he stood in his doorway, waving until my car turned the corner. In that moment, I felt a profound connection, a quiet echo of that selfless hand reaching for me years ago. I realized that kindness, like a flame, can always be passed on, even by a simple act. It wasn't about grand gestures. It was about showing up for someone else, just like someone showed up for me. My annual pilgrimage to the roadside continues. This past year, as I knelt to place the yellow flowers, something glinted in the wet grass near the spot. It was a small, weathered keychain, old and tarnished silver, shaped like a tiny firefighter's helmet. My breath caught in my throat. It had to be. It had to belong to him, the stranger who saved me, lost in the chaos of that burning wreck. I picked it up, my fingers tracing its worn edges, a silent tear escaping my eye. I held it tight for a moment, a wave of gratitude washing over me, a silent vow to keep the light of kindness burning, just as he had. Then I carefully placed it back exactly where I found it. It felt like a shared secret, a quiet connection between me, the spot, and the hero I still never knew. The world is full of quiet heroes, I realized, and in my own small way, I was now one of them, paying forward the incredible gift I had been given.